Very minimal load-in today. Camera and sticks. 24-70 GM Mark II. I didn't know how big this room was gonna be, so I brought the big boy. This is an older Tamron 150-600 that I use when conference spaces are really, really far from the back of house to the presenter. So I don't think we're gonna need this one, but I will rig it up just so you guys can see what it looks like. It's pretty cool. This massive lens does need some support, so I'm using the base plate from my old Zhiyun Crane gimbal because it has a built-in 1/4-20 right here, and they provide some lens support, and I just need a little bit just to offset it and take some of the tension off of this mount. This is also EF, so I'm using the MC11 back when I was transitioning from my C70 to Fx6, so I still keep this for my one EF lens. But yeah, this thing's a tank. Yeah, this is ridiculous. Even at 150, the widest focal length, it would be a very, very tight shot. Not even able to see the presentation screen. So we're gonna switch to the favorite lens of mine. I'm looking at upgrading to the Sony UWP wireless transmission system. These do good, but there has been a couple times where I get a lot of dropouts in high frequency areas like expo floors on convention centers. And it would be nice to not have to put batteries in here, not have to use a cable anymore since they all connect through the Sony MI shoe, just making things a little bit easier. But they're kind of expensive. I think they're definitely worth it, but $1,200 for a receiver and 2 transmitters, and that would also expand my audio capabilities here because I would keep my shotgun here, and then I would have a full other XLR, so 4 channels available, which could be very helpful for kind of like one-man band dock situations. Normally I try to hide the mic with this Bumblebee Industries lav concealer. Basically it goes right through there, and then you peel this sticker off and it goes onto inside someone's shirt. However, for this situation, I'm gonna be far away and I don't want to deal with any issues of scratching, so we're just going to go with the traditional clip mount and do our best to hide it, but it will be visible, but it has a much higher chance of having uninterrupted, non-scratchy, clean audio, and I think that's most important. This is a note for the editor. Channel 1 is the shotgun mic, and channel 2 is the lavalier. So how did I get this job? Well, I actually got it from YouTube. From putting myself out there and showing the public that I do these types of interviews, would you look at that? It comes back around. Half the battle is just getting people to know that you do what you do. And the more people that know, the more times your name gets mentioned and the more times it can pop up into other people's jobs. First podcast, and I did it with Alberto. I appreciate it, man. I've never been on one before, and that was a super casual conversation. We did get some new glow, so it's like it's 2001 again. Fast and Furious just came out. Got my dream car. I mean, it looks like a Hot Wheels car. What more could you ask for? I could ask for it to be faster, but it's a little 4-cylinder. I don't like hunching over to see the monitor, so I raised it up, made it a little bit higher, and that way it meets my eye line much better. I get a lot of people asking, what monitor mounting setup is this? Well, it's a custom recipe that I've built over the years, different parts from different manufacturers that all work seamlessly together. And like always, all of the parts are in the description, but the most premium part is that little red articulation part. That's from Wooden Camera, and that allows me to very, very fluidly with one hand adjust the angle of rotation. And it works perfectly if you want to throw it on the shoulder, put it on sticks, whatever. I love it. Some of you may be interested. I have an update for the remote editing position. To catch some of you up to speed, I shoot and edit reels for this promotion, and I love doing it. I just don't have time to do the editing. So I pitched to them, what if we get a remote editor and I still shoot? A lot of you guys gave me your submissions. I forwarded them to the promoter. He chose what he liked, and we will be contacting the top 3 soon. So something that I didn't like was my camera was not stable, and I was like, what is going on? I'm tightening this as much as I can. I don't know why it's still sliding back and forth. Well, when I had got out of the car earlier, I accidentally dropped the tripod and I didn't realize it, but that basically bent the screw. And now when I am trying to screw it in, it won't go all the way because there's a bend in it. It just stops right at that elbow. So I tried putting it in just a couple threads in and then kind of bend it. That helped a little bit, but I'm gonna have to either get a replacement. It's tight now. It's slightly fixed. It's tight now, but that is a bummer and just something to be aware of. Just got to treat your gear more carefully, I guess. $25 for parking, but I knew it was gonna be a short night, so I did not book a Airbnb, which is really nice because just something I don't have to invoice them, and I can get home tonight and not waste tomorrow full of travel. It's a 3-hour drive, but I don't get up early when I stay at an Airbnb.
And so we're kind of just pivoting the camera from one location.
Using my favorite webcam for a crew call about a job next week, 7 days of corporate interviews in Arizona. And it's just great when you keep advertising that you do a certain thing like interviews. You keep putting it out there, and then eventually people realize it, and when they have the need for it, they know you're the guy to do specifically that. And I just had a second call for 4 days of production in West Palm Beach. So 2 really big jobs. These are gonna provide a lot of the income for this month and probably for the following month as well. Random gear thoughts. So this is the 16-35 GM Mark I. This is my favorite lens, the 24-70 Mark II GM, and I love my monitor placement. This is my own recipe of parts. You can find it in the description. A couple people have actually used it and are have a nice functioning EVF off to the side like a ENG camera. So the point that I wanted to get at is when I zoom out, sometimes I can see the monitor right there. That's at 16 mil, extremely wide. I probably wouldn't be on 16 that often. So I can just bring this monitor back a little bit. But the thing is with these lenses, they telescope when they zoom. And specifically, the 24-70 telescopes when it zooms. So if I roll this all the way out, it's about this long. Now, I actually wish that these lenses were their telescoped length and then they didn't change, because with cinema lenses, they're usually, cinema zooms, they're usually pretty long. And the benefit with that is I will never see this monitor in the side because it is so far out. So I wish it was this length and it didn't telescope, it didn't change. And that would really help my situation where sometimes when I didn't have this cable management here, sometimes I would see these wires just poking right here in the frame. It doesn't happen anymore now that I have all of these nice cable management routes. But I wish this was longer, and I wish Sony made, you've heard me complain before, a new version of the 28-135 f4. If they could just update it, it doesn't have to be a completely huge renovation. That lens does not telescope. It is f4, but it has manual focus and autofocus and servo zoom control. I don't believe a aperture ring, but if they could put all that into one lens, I would happily buy it. For now, these are working out fine, but man, I want a Mark II of that 28-135. I'm filming some marketing material for the Art of Documentary, and I'm not gonna lie, this stuff looks pretty good. I'm using the Utopia LUT from Phantom LUTs, and so it's giving like kind of like a little bit of green in the shadows, but just one key light. And this is footage for you know, if you're watching their monthly Zoom calls, which are really informative, they just kind of want to get a viewpoint of what people look like at home watching. So I said, yeah, I can absolutely make some footage like that. And then we got just, you know, my balcony, which looks really good right here. Having a YouTube channel is such a value because I just wanted to know, what is everybody using for their business checking account? I need to get one. I put up a post and literally 95% of people said Chase. So I opened up a Chase business checking account, and I'm gonna make my first deposit so I can link it to my American Express and then have an easy transaction. It's been a week since the last Combat Night event, and I did not work at all. So we're going straight from one MMA event to the next, and that's just how it goes sometimes. All right, normally I just put my name in the title structure, but now I'm gonna change it CN since we're at Combat Night. And then we're gonna go with year, month, day, reset the clip number, and then that way when the editor gets this, or anyone gets this, they will know exactly which day and fight this footage is from. Also, I want to say thank you to Victor. He shared the Phantom LUTs with me, so that's what I'm gonna be burning in and delivering. Utopia is really nice contrast. He has some blue undertones. So far, I think that's the one I'm going with for this non-corporate work. I think it's hilarious that I have such contrasting client types. So I have this violent MMA type of work, and then I have very proper corporate stuff. In the past, I used to have a lot of real estate, photo and video, and then at the same time, I would be doing very sexy tropical swimwear campaign type of stuff. And it's fine, as long as you don't mix up the marketing in your reel or letting each client see, you can totally do a wide range of topics. All right, this is for the entrepreneurs out there.
A guy who sold just high-end CCT cameras, he just reviews them, and he sells that membership to large casinos and stuff like that. 1,200 members, $1,000 a year. Just one guy doing that whole thing. How big was it? It was about $1.2 million a year. And
so basically, this guy is a camera reviewer, but instead of being on YouTube, he is reviewing CCTV cameras for casinos, and he's targeting casino owners because they need to have an insight on what is the latest tech to make sure my business, my casino floor, is as safe as possible. Well, some guy who could just as easily do this on YouTube is saying, I'm gonna package this up, put it in an exclusive group, and charge for it $1,000 a year, and you will get, I will do all the research to share the latest tech with you to give you that peace of mind for your company. It's an insanely easy venture, but he's just found a way to make it urgent, as in you need this for the safety of your business, exclusive, because this is not for anyone. You have to pay to get in, and then exclusive leads to money. So this is just a really cool thing that I am thinking of as a YouTuber. How can I provide value for people, enough value that they would pay for it? And if you guys are business owners, entrepreneurs, I wonder if your brains are kind of flaring up like this when you hear simple ideas like that. 1.2 million a year. And we always look at YouTube videos for cameras, right? CCTV cameras would not be that hard of a shift, but you just have to find that perfect target demographic and sell exactly to them. Saying goodbye to this bag temporarily because I'm putting everything into my old bag. And the main reason I switched was because I didn't want to have to break everything down, but I have to because I'm going on a flight tomorrow to do 7 days of corporate work in Arizona. So this is not strong enough for air travel. This isn't that strong either, but it's smaller and it'll fit in the overhead compartment. So I literally have taken everything out of here and put it into here in a somewhat sloppy, organized way. But everything, cards, and this is gonna go along with that massive bag that I used to use. So basically, this turned into this, and I upgraded that into that. But because of airline travel, I need to revert back to these. So I'm glad I kept them, but that is extremely heavy, and it's definitely going to be an oversized and possibly overweight charge. I'll figure that out when I get there tomorrow morning, but I have about 3 hours to sleep before I need to be at the airport. Well, finally all packed up, and I just realized I didn't offload tonight's footage. That is on 2 SD cards buried deep into that bag. Bummer. This is the wildest I've ever seen pre-check.
Is that more fuel?